One facet of severe weather that we are unfortunately very familiar with here in the Western Carolinas is flooding. Of course, we were hit very hard with Hurricane Helene just last year, caused devastating flooding, especially for the folks of Western North Carolina. So talking about a couple of different types of flooding that we have. You have a regular flood, which is a long duration event. These are situations that may last days or even weeks, caused by rising water in an existing waterway or ponding after rain. So it happens on a fairly slow basis. Now, flash flooding, which we did see in Western North Carolina last year, is more of a quick event. It occurs within minutes or in just a few hours. Raging torrents over riverbeds, urban streets, or mountain canyons are typical when you're talking about flash flooding happening there. The runoff from flooding is another aspect that really compounded a lot of those issues into the mountains. And that happens because you get not only the rain in the valleys, but also the rain over the higher elevations. And once the ground gets saturated at the higher elevations, that runoff then starts to flow downhill, adding to the rainfall totals that you're seeing in the valleys. So not only are the valleys getting rain in and of themselves, but they're also getting added to. Those totals go up because of that runoff coming from the higher elevations of the mountains. Now, there are several things that you can do to get prepared ahead of a flood, and we want you to have that information now so you can do those things ahead of severe weather season. Before a flood, you want to create a communications plan and make sure that everyone in your family knows how to get a hold of everyone else and has those ways to be able to communicate. Assess your emergency kit. You should already have an emergency kit ready to go in your home. This can be used in case of fire, in case of flooding, severe weather, or just, again, anytime you have to evacuate. So double check with your emergency kit and make sure you have everything good to go in there and you don't need to refresh any of your supplies. Know your risk. Know what the potential is for flooding in your home. Do you live near a waterway? Are you at a higher risk there? Certainly something to factor in there. Prepare your home. Make sure that anything that you need to have done ahead of time to get your home ready to deal with flooding, whether that's sandbags in the days leading up to a flood, or make sure that there's any repairs around your home that need to be done. And prepare your family and pets. Make sure everyone in your family knows that emergency plan, and make sure that you also have that plan to include your pets and how, if you do have to evacuate, what that plan looks like there. During a flood, make sure you're staying informed. The Fox Carolina First Alert Weather Team will be with you in any sort of flooding situation, so make sure you're staying tuned to all of those updates. Get to higher ground, especially if you're being told to evacuate. You need to get out of your home and get to that higher ground. That's where that safety comes into play there. Obey evacuation orders. Anytime those are issued, don't risk it and ride it out. Make sure that you're getting to that higher ground, and be aware of electricity and water. It's never a good idea to get into floodwaters. There's any number of things floating around there, including electricity, which means that you can actually end up being electrocuted if you're walking around in those floodwaters. Plus, anytime you've got floodwaters, there could be snakes, there could be critters in there, and you don't know what kind of germs are floating around inside those waters as well. Looking into the after the flood, stay informed. Again, another great way to stay informed is right here with the Fox Carolina team. We're going to keep you updated on everything that you need to know in the aftermath. Avoid floodwaters and disaster areas. We just talked about not walking through those floodwaters for a number of reasons, so continue to do that and stay out of those disaster areas until officials say it's safe for you to go back in. Heed road closures and caution signs. Turn around, don't drown. Those signs are there for a reason, and they are to protect you and make sure that you don't get hurt. And wait for that all clear. Emergency officials are going to allow you back into those areas once it is safe for you to do so. So make sure that you're paying attention to that and contact family members and loved ones. This goes back to making sure you have that communication plan ahead of time, and make sure that you're able to contact your family and loved ones to let them know that you're okay and that you are and where you are. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Chrissy Kohler.